The villanelle. The villanelle is probably my favorite form of poetry. As we continue through this module with each unit, as I introduce a different form of poetry, the forms become constricting. They become very structured and organized and almost really difficult to try to write one if you tried. The villanelle's form is one of those, very complicated. It consists of 19 lines and has a very rigid rhyme scheme for every stanza. 5 tercets, remember tercets are 3-line stanzas. 5 tercets have a rhyme scheme of A, B, A. And 1 quatrain at the end, remember a quatrain is a 4-line stanza, has a rhyme scheme of A, A, B, A. Remember that when we discuss rhyme scheme, we're talking about lowercase letters that are identifying the matching sounds. So everything with an A would rhyme with itself, and everything with a B would as well. Let's remember this as we move on. Villanelles also repeat entire lines, in addition to the rigid rhyme scheme of the tercets and the quatrain. The writer also repeats entire lines from the poem. The first line of the first tercet becomes the third line of the second, fourth, and sixth stanzas. Authors who were very comfortable and famous for using villanelle form were Dylan Thomas and James Joyce. Dylan Thomas's poem, "Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night," is probably very familiar to you. So I want to read to you one that is not as familiar, and then I want to go over how it's structured. A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. Let's read this entire villanelle. Are you not weary of ardent ways? Lure of the fallen seraphim, tell no more of enchanted days. Your eyes have set man's heart ablaze, and you have had your will of him. Are you not weary of ardent ways? Above the flame, the smoke of praise goes up from ocean, rim to rim. Tell no more of enchanted days. Our broken cries and mournful lays rise in one Eucharistic hymn. Are you not weary of ardent ways? While sacrificing hands appraise the chalice flowing to the brim, tell no more of enchanted days. And still you hold our longing gaze with languorous look and lavish limb. Are you not weary of ardent ways? Tell no more of enchanted days. Let's look at how this poem uses repetition as part of its form. Now, why would a poet repeat so much in 19 lines? As you can see here, the lines that are repeated are signified with capital letters and numbers. The first line to be repeated would be given in A, capital A, and the second line to be repeated would be given a capital A2. This designates how the entire line is to be repeated, not just a rhyme. Still, the rhyme pattern of the tercet is kept as we continue. So why would a poet want to use so much repetition in a fairly short poem? 19 lines isn't very long. It didn't take me very long to read it. What is repetition for? Well, in poems like Villanelles and Sestinas, and in any poem really, repetition is a way to mark our rhythm and our pattern of sound in a poem. It creates interest in the reader. But more importantly for the poet, it talks about what's important in the poem. Let's look at what he repeated. Maybe there's a theme emerging. Maybe there's a subject. Are you not weary of ardent ways? Tell no more of enchanted days. There's a question and then a declarative sentence. The rest of the poem explores these other questions that he has, and we're getting back to the theme of the poem when he gets back to the final couplet that closes it out in the quatrain. Are you not weary of ardent ways? Tell no more of enchanted days. The repetition not only hones in the theme, but it also creates that rhythm that we love. Remember when I talked about rhyme, I said that the reader, the audience, even as we speak poetry, we like that there's an expected sound at the end of the line. It makes us feel good, and it sounds good to the ear, and it allows us to hear a long poem because we like that repetition of sound. Repeating an entire line does the same exact thing, because not only are you repeating the same sound, but you're repeating the exact same words and sounds. Repetition is especially effective in poetry, because even in a short form, it's useful. Remember that if a poem is using repetitive phrases, It's not because there's a lack of words. It's because there's a very important theme or point being made. The villanelle will definitely be on the exam, and you'll be asked to identify. You'll be needing to memorize expressly how many lines, how many pieces, and what kind of rhyme scheme is part of the villanelle. So please do so, and think about that when you're answering the questions at the end of the unit.